It was the whole
You are all set.
online on the website. It was this whole thing.
When you gave it to the
Okay.
clerk, can I just ask a couple of questions quick here before we go? When you gave this to the clerk,
Mhm.
did the clerk post the entire page?
Mhm.
Well, we might be able to get away with it. We can try if you want. You wanna try that?
Look at
It's a-
how it, let's
It
start
really
and
should
we'll.
be in the agenda because it's, whatever. But if they posted the whole page.
Let's open up the meeting and then we can discuss it. So it's Dr. Vigan opening up Board of Health on October 23rd, 2024. Roll call.
Patrick Tropiano, yes?
Lawrence Perry here.
Susan Dory here.
And Amy Vigan here. We have,
have to do your two, yeah.
It's just you and I for the roll call, and then we're
But-
gonna bring somebody up.
we don't
You don't have to bring
We
it
don't
up.
need to, and she's probably coming.
If she's not
We
coming,
have,
it's up to you.
You don't have to anyways, two to the quorum.
we have a quorum, so we're okay. And Jillian Morton is not here yet, but we'll let everyone know when she comes in. So to start, we have discussion and possible vote on 2587 Cranberry Highway variance request. And is anyone here from that spot? Mr. McDonald, do you want to start? Were they planning to come, do you know?
I believe they were planning to come. I can pitch it to the board. It's straightforward, but
If we wanted, we do have somebody on the second. If you think they were planning to come, do you wanna wait and do the second
oh yeah,
person
we can do the
first?
second person.
And then if they're not here, is that
Yeah.
okay? So this, I'm gonna take them out of order. Discussion and possible vote on Lauren Zachnoon, apprentice permit. Lauren, would you like to come up for us?
Good afternoon.
And there. And would you like to present what you're
Yeah.
hoping to do?
So I will be apprenticing, apprentice tattoo artist at 40 Church Ave. I'll be working under a master tattoo artist. He'll be supervising me as I start to learn the craft. I believe I have 2,400 hours to work to become a tattoo artist.
And he's not here today?
No. He had his own hearing about a month ago, I believe, for him to start working in the town of Wareham.
He did.
Yeah.
And I'll just have to,
Um,
do we know if there's any definite need for the master artist to be present? I know we had this issue at a different meeting.
currently no.
It's not in our current regs, I'm just,
Talk about it the last time.
we did talk about it and we're up to an application apprentice license. Okay. Does anyone, I'm okay to hear her, does anyone have any other thoughts before? Okay.
We have everything we need in, as far as information goes and documents.
I think we talked about it the last time.
Yeah.
I think it's within our purview to have somebody here who wants to get a license to be able to ask them questions.
Right, I mean, this
I
is
think
what
it's only
happened.
fair.
This did we, and are we telling the apprentices when they come,
Yeah.
asking them beforehand to bring the master artist with them? Out of fairness to the, I don't think we have, right?
I didn't tell him to.
Technically, we don't have master artists, so.
Right, we're in the process of changing our regs, so in the process of, we've had a lot of various conversations.
Who is,
And
which is, who are you gonna work on?
This is the applicant.
His name is Elias Gonzalez.
and we just okayed him a month ago.
He was on Zoom.
Right, I
He was with Zoom a month ago for Church Cove.
Yeah, that's right.
Where you would be working.
I mean, last week, I think it was,
Yes.
last meeting,
Right,
we made them get the other person to
Correct.
bring it in.
well,
Yes.
they came up on, or on Zoom, even on Zoom,
Mm-hmm.
but he
Seems
wouldn't be
like
here
we're-
today.
I didn't know that he had to be here. I can
Yeah.
maybe call him to see if he could come on Zoom. right now.
Can you do that?
Yeah, let's see if that's
Okay.
possible. Okay.
Can I just step out?
Yes,
Yeah, sure.
that's fine. So I think if we asked it for one, I agree with you. A couple, our last meeting, that we should, when new folks are coming in, we should ask it of everybody, because it's not fair to do it for one person and another, and I totally agree with that.
If we may have some questions for him as well as her,
Right.
you know.
Mhm.
and
So otherwise, I think in her paperwork, anybody have any concerns over,
No, we have all the
Okay.
paperwork.
everything is in,
Everybody
so she would be working out of, and it's it's an internist office, a space, it's Dr. Zeckman's daughter, and she's gonna be working with an artist that's gonna be working on it, so. And if not able, maybe we just squeeze her into the next meeting. I think the paperwork is all there. I think it also makes sense, and we're in the process of getting these, that the next, we sort of hold off on the next people until these are really clarified.
Could I just, how do I get the Zoom link to send to him?
You can go on the town's website to the clerk's office, or in the calendar,
can-
even if you use the calendar.
Okay.
She could take a picture of that,
Like
Robin,
right here, okay.
and then send it to him, and he can go in that way. So while he's coming on board, I'm gonna let you get that going, and then, if that's okay, we're gonna put you on hold for a second.
Okay.
And, do you think, Mr. McDonald, that the Cranberry Harbor's variance is something we should do without the people being present? Generally, they should be present, so should we postpone it if they don't come? They're not.
We certainly can, yeah, it's,
Generally, we request that the engineers are here or on Zoom with us and present what they're doing.
It's up to us. I mean,
Yeah.
if you feel that you need to have those questions, then yeah. we
Well,
should.
I mean, it's been, we really don't usually look at the engineers without going through it.
Okay.
And that should be, I mean, it's been relatively standard, unless there's something ahead of time, you've told them they don't need to be here, Patrick.
no, I talked to them, they actually sent me revisions already, so I thought they were gonna be here. You guys are welcome to look through it first and decide if you wanna vote on it, if not, you can vote to continue. If you wanna look through it first, that's
I think we,
easy.
for me, I think we should just wait and, bring it back at another time.
Yeah, that's,
Completed, because if he's sending them revisions too, I don't have the revisions in my packet, do I?
These are, yeah, you have them.
Okay, so the packet is correct for us, okay, good, so at least
Okay.
I've seen the plan anyway.
He was supposed to be on Zoom.
right, so let's postpone them.
Well, we
Let me
wanna
see.
wait till the end of the
Yeah,
meeting and see
right.
what
Comes
happens?
back, you can
Right.
throw 'em in.
Okay, I'm with you.
Okay. And then, our next, and I will, we'll go on to, discussion and possible vote on rental regulations. We realized today that, the notice of public hearing was put at the top of the page and not actually within the actual, agenda, although it's on the same page as the agenda.
I think we should go with it and see what
It
happens.
seems clear because everything was
Yeah, let's-
was put online together on the same page. So anybody looking at the agenda will see a notice of public hearing, am I correct? How it is online?
Certainly hope so.
And if need be, we can bring it back next time if there's any glitch with it, we
do
can
an
bring it back and,
affirmatory vote.
okay?
Yeah, okay.
It's,
So in keeping with that, then I move that we open the public hearing for the purposes of discussing and listening to taking input relevant to the rental house program.
and I second that, and
Patrick Tropiano, yes.
and Amy Begant, yes.
Okay.
Mr. McDonald, would you like to present?
Absolutely. So the only change we're requesting to these regulations at this time is simply the fees. We have not changed them in 11 years. Obviously, the cost of doing business has continued to rise.
11 years has it been?
These are the original There's one revision, so
We had
there's one singular
Okay.
revision at the beginning to change these fees. They were 75 and the revision was to 120.
right, okay, yeah,
But yeah, so in 11 years, we haven't changed the fees at all. And unfortunately, with the rise in cost of doing everything, the split that we have with the town obviously has continued to shrink and shrink and shrink. So we're at the point now where it's just not enough to pay everybody and get all the work done.
And the-
Keep it manageable, but
Okay, so what is,
so, so my, I think I would be, I'd accept the entertaining the change in price. I don't think we're ready to do a whole reg review and really line by line. I'll explain something afterwards, which I'm talking with the administrator today, so we might get some help in doing these. So I would be in favor of changing the actual prices and change the regs for that one issue. And then later bringing back when we have more time at a different meeting, because you really need more time to go through line by line again at some point, okay? And that would be mine.
and these ones are
Can you,
historically shorter.
What would,
for the purposes of the hearing, can you tell us what the increases in fees are, what they are now and what the increases are?
Yep.
And I believe, isn't there gonna be a fee now for a reinspection as well?
As well as a
Okay,
separate fee, we'll get into that.
so I need to hear that.
I'm looking for them. Do you know what page the fees are actually on?
I just looked and I
Each one.
couldn't
Hmm?
find it.
Each one of the,
Oh, page one. I'm looking at the back as they, okay.
Big one, I remember.
There they
six,
are, yep, okay.
So the current annual fee is $100 and every additional unit is 25. The proposed is annual is 125 and all additional units will be 50.
And right now, it's costing $30 to do the other units.
Yes, sir.
So you got 25 and you're
Exactly.
paying 30.
Correct.
Well, that
Right.
doesn't make a whole lot of
Correct.
sense.
Exactly.
And you also have on here $50 reinspection fee will be assessed for each additional inspection.
Correct. So this is for there's not really a good way to say it, but our habitual offenders as far as scheduling and not showing up.
Mhm.
We have quite a bit of that. Unfortunately, it costs us money every time.
Yep.
As well as the ones that are just continuously a problem, we go back 2 or 3 times for continued issues. Being able to recoup some of the cost to send everybody out just helps with maintaining the program.
Yes, yes.
Do we have a penalty for people who do not sign up like they're supposed to?
We do.
Okay, and what is that?
Traditionally, it's been $100, but that was just recharging the annual fee. There's no specific fee.
So, but they get the annual fee anyway,
Correct.
so does it charge an extra $100? In other words, if you caught somebody who was not signing up, or somebody who said, I'm just not gonna sign up, so if you charge them 100, that's the regular fee.
Correct.
So there should be an additional charge. should there not?
125, yeah.
Yeah,
So also you have to take them, you've had people that you've had to take to court over this.
But yeah, we've had.
And there is a cost to take people to court. Do they
Correct.
pay that cost?
Yeah, they pay that cost, but we traditionally won't see any of that money that we recoup from court. It goes to the general fund.
you better believe it.
So maybe we put on $100, for example, unless somebody has a better, for if somebody is behind by how much time? 6 months, a year, what do you know, who hasn't signed up? What would you think, Mr.?
Well, I know the building department charges if you go to work without a permit, which is similarly, right? They double the fee.
That's, I think, what ours is.
And I think that's what we should do. If it's 125, it should be 250.
Okay.
And I think that's what we should incorporate.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So how would that be worded then? You may need a time on it if someone has not paid or signed up.
What's the time frame?
Right, that's the important factor.
Are they supposed to respond within 30 days?
Not everybody knows about it initially, you have to know about it.
Renewal is annually by January 1. There's always stragglers up until February, and then we're usually chasing people from February on, so.
How
We
about-
wanna say 4
How
months.
about 3 months?
Yeah,
Give-
3 or
give
4
them
months
3.
to be very fair.
Yeah, let's say 3 months, I think that's a fair number, 90 days to, I mean, they know what happens every year, it's not like it's a surprise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so put that in there accordingly.
Add that.
So if,
And do you think you want to, we could vote on it today that the increases take effect and then have them bring back the final copy anyway, you know what I mean? Next time, like next meeting. Just so that we can, you know,
Yeah, we've already had people try to start paying,
mhm,
that'd be helpful.
yeah, that
Okay.
makes sense. And I always like to see the actual, how it's been changed and the actual wording, since we're now changing it from what's written here.
Right.
So that,
so, okay, all right, okay, I know what to do. I'll make the motion, don't worry. I got it covered.
that's
All right.
fine, okay,
But now you gotta ask if there's anybody to speak for or
There's-
against.
yeah. There's no one up here, but would anyone have any comments?
Anybody here have anything to say?
I am
For or
seeing
against?
nobody on Zoom.
There's nobody on Zoom, so,
Okay,
except
good.
for us,
Then I move we close the public hearing.
and I second that.
Okay,
Roll call vote.
Patrick Tropiano, yes?
And Amy Begine, yes.
Okay,
So
all
now,
right, so this is the motion. I make a motion that we increase the fees in the rental program as follows. $125 for a regular inspection, $50 for each additional unit, and then multiple units. That we charge a fee after 3 months, not getting your upgrade, that we change that and make that $250. Okay, and what was the other one? There's one other one.
and a reinspection fee,
And
it's
the
right here.
reinspection fee is
$50.
$50, okay? And that's what I move,
I second that,
okay?
and roll call vote,
Patrick Tropiano, yes?
and Amy Begine, yes.
Okay, so your fee schedule has changed.
And so in speaking of,
Good enough.
and speaking of our regs, well, I can bring this up at the end of
I think I'd like to see, like you, Amy, I'd like to see this completely written out so that we can
Yeah.
see it at the next meeting in writing,
Perfect.
okay?
Yeah.
So
So-
Elias said that he's on the link waiting to be invited in.
Oh,
Okay,
okay. Says 0.
Does.
0.
Participant, and one down below, that's where I'm media.
I am seeing nobody on Zoom.
I'm copying the link directly from the Board of Health page, so let me try again.
Yeah, it's long, it's kind of like,
Yeah, typing that was
yeah.
challenging.
Yeah, it's not a fun thing to get into, that's for sure.
Especially the I's and J's.
Don't usually have problems with people coming in that I know of. So let's see if you guys can work it out, gonna keep moving,
Mhm.
and
Hey, were you able to join the link? Still just showing a blue screen.
You wanna do tattoo?
so, yeah, so the next is continue discussion possible vote on body art established practitioner piercing and tattooing regulations. Now, I, and just in this, I have a couple comments on it first. They're very confusing. There's a lot of where, I don't know if anyone else spent some time looking at some of this.
I
I-
tried to read through it and I got a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can go over, I did go up and I did speak with Town Administrator Derek today. And he did say that maybe not right today, but at some point, we might be able to have somebody help us from outside of the office to help do our regs. They're very, the old regs that we have, this is for writing of the regs and getting them updated. They're pages, and some of them are longer than these. And for us, each of us personally, I'm probably not the qualified, English is not my skill. And so everyone's a little bit different, and he said we might be able to get somebody up and to help us. So I don't know when that's gonna happen, but I'll keep everyone posted. It will certainly help the staff in the office, because this is tough. Do you wanna comment on what you've found? I think of the comments, what I have also, besides each individual, is, do you take an old and just look at each word, or do you redo the whole thought? There's different ways to redo regs, and sometimes the thoughts we had received, I don't know if these originally came from you, Larry, these model regulations for body art, or if they came from Jess. These model arts, but I've had them in my pack for a while.
I mean, I
So-
sent some last month.
Yeah, these may be the ones that you sent. So they're, they're different ways to,
See, what happens is we take a copy of some regs from somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody who's already got them in place, and then we
Well-
try to fix them.
right, so we
And that
have
never
them.
works out very.
Right, so we have some in place already, and these are from 2019. And trying to fix them gets sometimes messy, because not everything's
Some
in there, and you
sentences
forget,
are
you're
not
looking at
right.
the words. So it's a general of how to do it. And we can do this sort of at the end. I just wanted to bring it up. It's a big deal for me, because I think these have shown how messy some of our regs are.
I think we can run these by council anyway,
Yeah,
if you really want to. I mean, it's
Is
a pretty,
is that who is responsible for the
Yeah.
final draft?
yeah, I mean,
The
council should
actual
look at them
wording
anyway,
of sentences and use of
because
language
he'll have
and
to
everything?
defend it.
right, and I'm not sure that has happened with all of our regs, that they've all gone through council, but probably not a bad idea if we do new regs that get voted in. And the other issue with regs, which we'll bring up after, is what's on our web, we'll do this after, but what's on our, online. So,
Yeah, I think
I'm
you
just
should,
gonna interrupt you real quick. I think there's something wrong with the link. Cause I'm trying to join it
It's not
myself.
working.
oh, and you can't
Yeah,
join either?
this is the screen that Elias is getting when he tries to join.
Oh, that means no one's been able to, that's why no one's there.
oh, boy.
It's the same link in both agendas.
I don't know if anyone else has gotten on, we can, while you're figuring that out, we can at least talk a little bit about the
Yeah, I think,
piercing and tattooing.
I think you could get this to council, and without any problem at all. He'll take it, he'll go through it, he'll look it over. He'll probably scratch a lot of it and do whatever.
Right, but we have to decide first, before he looks at it, what we want to present to him and what the what the regs should be between piercing, tattooing, how to do them.
I thought we've already added that stuff.
Yeah,
all
we
in.
have, but they haven't been
I haven't
changed.
really gone through it line by line. There's things in here that I don't know what they mean, and I would assume other people don't either.
Do you wanna bring up what you've seen through there, Susan?
This was a packet
story?
that was
Mhm.
given to us last week, or the last time we met. And for example, on page 3 of 16, there's a sentence that just doesn't make sense. It's underneath in the three-dimensional 3D body art for beading and implantation. This term does not include body piercing is prohibited. What does that mean?
Right,
The
it's-
last sentence in that section.
That's,
And I know it's nitpicky, but if I'm reading it and not understanding it, then the people in the business have this in front of them on the website. And
my
need to
guess
understand
with
it
that
too.
is that this term does not include body piercing, period. And the is prohibited meant something else, but it's somebody this is the problem with patching old ones, that sometimes things get missed. But that is, I would just cross off as prohibited.
Oh, these aren't a patch, this is a copy of the state's.
So
The
these,
state one? So somebody from the state did this?
Yeah, I would
That's
imagine,
sad.
I would imagine that's at the end for some sort of legal reason.
But it's a nonsensical sentence.
correct.
See in section 2?
Wow.
You see it there, yeah. It's bottom of 3,
It's a
under
minor- that's a
three-dimensional,
minor
the
issue.
last line of
No, I
three-dimensional.
see that, yeah, this term does
It just
not
doesn't make
include life.
sense.
You gotta know what's there.
And then, if we have time, I can say if you want others, they're on page 416, item 3, under exemptions. Physicians licensed in accordance with MGL who perform body art as part of a patient treatment are exempt from these regulations. I don't know of any physicians who do body art, but so can we have an example of what we're talking about?
We have one on Main Street,
We
she
do.
does,
Physician?
yes, what does she do? I forget what the technical term for it is, it's part of, different types of cancer treatments, they
Well,
do.
Those are
Like a radiation oncologist?
those are for radiation where you actually tattoo the person to be able to give them radiation to know where to do. But that's not body art. We're not doing it for art perspective, you're doing it for medical management. So no, I don't think any physician would call that body art. So I don't
Be
think you even need
clarified,
that
maybe?
in there, in my mind. That's under the license as being a physician, that you tattoo somebody so you know where to give radiation for breast cancer, prostate cancer, or whatever sort of cancer.
Or just in parentheses after it, radiation oncology,
Right.
to explain it.
So unless there's something else we're missing.
Well, I think, I mean, it's a general statement that allows physicians to do this if they so choose, without following the typical regulations.
That's not fair.
No, that's not what it says either.
And why should they be able to do it without
No.
regulation? They
Body
shouldn't.
art as part of a patient treatment. So this is a treatment, a medical treatment.
Yeah.
This isn't talking about doing it as a form of body art.
Right,
Those are
but-
two, no doctor's gonna do it as body art.
correct, but the way the
But
regs are
it gives
written,
them an exemption, I
Correct,
mean,
they
I
would-
think it's pretty clear what it says, I mean, it doesn't,
if we didn't
Not
exempt them, they
confusing
would
at
be
all.
required to adhere to all of these as if they were a tattoo shop to perform there.
Okay,
So if they do any type of medical treatment that involves any
But I-
type of tattooing or anything that would be considered body art as part of these regulations, they would be required to adhere to the
But
rest of it.
what I'm saying is those aren't body art, so they don't conform, they are not body art. They are medical treatment related to a cancer diagnosis usually. So it's not body art, so they don't come under tattooing.
well, the state put this in here,
Okay.
so they must think that it
So we
does
can-
come under body art in some
Okay.
form or another, right? I mean,
It's not that big of a deal, it's
right,
just, yeah.
No,
yeah,
Not that big of a
exactly.
deal.
in terms of
Yeah, it
understanding it
doesn't,
all.
it doesn't, whatever, I mean, you know, like, you know, lawyers, like, they can act as a realtor, even though they don't have realtor licenses.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think this is sort of
Similar.
in the realm of doctorhood, this is giving you, you know, causing no problem for doctors, basically. Did we get anybody yet? No.
We don't.
No, I think there's something wrong with the link, mine is still waiting to enter.
So who is in charge of our link?
It's the TV station, they send us the link.
So
Sends us the link
Oh,
still.
IT sends
we have a
us the link.
problem if we had a public hearing and people can't come in that are trying to come in.
For sure.
So we're gonna have to redo the public, in my mind, if it's true that people can't get in,
Not even a question about it.
we have to redo the public hearing. And probably the meeting, so we can talk about these things
We
generally.
really have no, because that's part of our meeting and
Yeah.
it's in the agenda, everything we talk about now is gonna have to all be redone.
We can, I think I'm okay with sort of generally talking about body, how to proceed with body. If that's with the regulations here. It's being recorded, so. But we certainly can't vote on these things.
We'll have to redo the whole thing,
We're gonna have to do
as part of
we'll
the
have to do
town's
it over
requirement is
again.
that we have.
But fortunately, that's fine, I mean, so we gotta do it over, I mean, I is what it
Yeah.
is, you know.
I'm okay with hearing more, Sue, what Dr. Dory,
Well,
some of the recommendations, because
sure.
we're gonna, and we're not voting, it's just to work on these regulations.
then can I continue to ask a few questions on this?
Yes, I'm sorry, I
Sure.
think we're not gonna be able to do it today because they can't get on.
Okay.
So we're gonna have, so that you don't have to sit and wait if you, it looks like there's a problem when they'll
I'm on page
redo you
4
for
of
this.
16.
All right.
416, okay.
I'm so sorry.
And you're up at the exemptions, we
I,
talked about
I'm,
that one.
yes.
Have a good night.
E,
Take care.
E, yeah.
Okay, the following practices are hereby prohibited unless performed by a medical doctor licensed by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Branding, scarification, tongue splitting, implementation. What is implementation? What is fracturing? What is removal? I don't know what it means.
That's
We-
interesting, I don't even have any,
Oh, we brought this up, oh,
The-
you have a different one. Wait, do you have a different-
yeah, obviously, I don't have E.
following,
This is,
oh,
this is from the last meeting.
oh yeah, these, so they took them out, because we talked
Yeah, we
about
took a
taking
bunch
them
of
out.
this stuff out.
We need to be looking at the new ones.
There's a fresh set in your new
Ah,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to compare the two now.
I guess I am. Okay.
Poor thing, it's like, come on.
And I went through it all.
It's not hard enough, we gotta
Okay.
start comparing from one to the next and
So
then.
let's see, okay.
oh, we had talked about that last time about taking that whole
E's
thing
been
out.
eliminated, and
Right.
we got the D, we ended with D.
10 of 16, okay, let's see what these
10
are.
or 16, okay.
Item number 5. The practitioner shall provide each client with verbal and written instructions on the aftercare body art site. I think it would be
What
nice,
number is it?
item number 5.
Number 5.
Can we see an example of that in this section? Just to know what kind of instructions people are given?
It's on the, it's a state document that they put together.
There's an actual form they
There's a
have to use.
The consent form was created by the state, it has all the
Okay.
directions.
All right, thank you for explaining that, I did not know that. And if, on page 11 of 16, injury or complaint report, or complication reports. Item number 8, can we see an example of an incident report? Is that something that's,
I had asked this too, is how often do you guys receive reports on injuries or problems that they've had? Are they reporting to us?
We've never gotten.
Because I can't believe that they've never had a problem.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very interesting.
It's there, but I'll bet money that nobody's ever reported it. In fact, they probably hide it as best they can.
Maybe that's something when we get the new regs going that we put in, make sure that everybody is reporting.
This is the. This is the whole disclosure form.
Yeah, I mean, this whole thing right here, this is a big deal.
everybody has to
And
use
no,
that?
Yes.
This reporting is a great
We have
idea,
a version.
in my opinion.
kind of
Because this
where
is where you
it has
find
our
out
information in the
what
Board of
shops are
Health
doing a good
section,
job
which
and what
says
shops are doing a bad job, right?
Wareham Board of Health.
Correct.
the Address to the office, our phone numbers.
And that's probably why they don't bother to send them in,
And-
which means that when we do the regulations, what happens if after the fact, somebody comes to us and said, I had such and such happen, and whatever, and there's been no report. We need to find out what we're gonna do about that.
Right,
Correct.
that would come before us and it would
Right.
be a vote.
Right, but it needs to be in the
Right.
rules, what's the penalty for that?
And here it talks about bringing it to us within 5 days. That's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that's very
exactly.
quickly.
Exactly.
In Lakeville, they were required to keep a log of those. They had to have a form and they had to keep them in a binder
Mhm.
for inspection upon demand. Anytime the inspector went to the facility, they reviewed that log.
That's a good idea.
And it might be worthwhile when the inspector exam goes out, is that you ask them for that log and see if they're actually keeping one, because even if they don't have them, there should be an easy format within the store for them to keep it.
Yeah, see, this doesn't talk about a log, though, this talks about notification to the Board of Health within 5 working days.
Yeah, I like the log idea also, because it would be easier when you guys are going out to look at the shop, I would think, correct, Sam? To just ask for the log.
It's doable.
And then, and some of them may be minor, that, do we really need to get all of them sent in to us? Would a log be enough?
What page is that?
This is page 12 of 16.
Okay,
Well, all right.
I was just trying to understand the ratio of the apprentice to master.
Yeah, we,
I know we went over this.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be 1-to-1, right? And that they're different things that they perform. One is tattooing, one is piercing, something else. At all times, does the master have only one apprentice?
so it's on the revised, on page 13 of 16, under the top, the third sentence down, master, this is, we had talked about this a little last time, a master practitioner not have more than one active apprentice. So apprentice would be one or the other.
Okay,
Do
thank
we
you.
need to clarify that, either or, but not both? I don't know if that's, I think it's clear here. Is that, I mean, you could say no, only one active apprentice, either a tattoo artist or a,
I think it's pretty straightforward.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter which one it is, they can only
Right.
have one.
only have one, right?
Is that too little though? I mean, is it not, are they not capable of being able to, like electricians, they can have 2. Plumbers can have 2, you know what I mean? It's pretty common to have 2. Is one kind of limiting? I mean, it seems to me that if you have to be one-on-one, then you don't know your job.
But these are new
Correct, they're
students
apprentices.
that are working on someone's body. And it says under their apprentice training must consist of the following: apprentice shall not perform any form of body art or body related work without direct supervision of a master practitioner.
Right.
It would be hard unless they work at different times.
Well, that's what I'm saying, they probably could very well work on different schedules.
I know Jess, when she was here, her opinion, and this is what she does, was one was adequate. And I haven't,
All right, well, you know what, we can kind of go with it, and then we'll see how it works out. If it
Yeah.
becomes a problem, we'll deal with it.
Cause there's no limit to the master practitioner, you could have 5.
Right, you can have 5
And then
masters,
you can have
but.
5.
so each master practitioner could have an apprentice
Correct.
in a shop.
If they've been in Wareham for 2 years.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask about that.
Because she was talking about working under somebody that only been here, what, a couple of months?
Months, correct.
So he
So-
doesn't even meet the
So should
definition of master.
an addition be made to that sentence
Yeah, I
saying
mean, the girl
during
that
a 2-year training period?
yeah, that girl who just came in, for instance, right?
Mhm.
We just appointed him, what, a few weeks ago?
Right.
So he hasn't had his 2 years in, so how can he have an apprentice? if
Because
that's the
on our
case?
old regs, it's not in our old regs. So we haven't voted anything new in yet, okay? So in the so through our regs, that's what, part of the reason why these regs are getting redone.
You could have a shop in the current regs with 1 practitioner license of any degree, even if it's brand new, and as many apprentices as they can fit in here. Which is why we're changing these.
Okay. It's good thinking, I guess.
Any other comments, Dr. Dory?
No, I guess that was it.
There's just so many of them.
Any comments, Barry?
Oh, and what's on the website for dates is
Yeah, wait.
kind of funky.
Well, the
Yeah,
web-
we'll go, I think that's being,
They're mostly fixed. That was
Clear.
We're
a,
talking about that next week,
that was a link
or
issue.
2 weeks, right?
yeah, so yeah, so we discovered that what was on the website was not accurate. There were some of our old regs were on it, so people that went onto the online to see the regs were getting 2007 regs and whatever. So I think, Ms. McDonald, you clear
Should be mostly fixed.
okay,
I think they would double check them all
today,
again.
yeah. Something happened, there was some glitch that the old ones pulled up and not the new ones. It was a computer issue, but. And then the website also, are we going to maybe another meeting, be able to pull and have up in front of us what our website looks like?
Yep.
And another, so that everyone can actually see, we can maybe clean it up before then. There's a couple glitches with it too. And then we can show not only the public, but also ourselves what, I'd encourage everybody to look at,
Who creates the website? Is there an IT department?
IT,
person?
Yeah, IT does it all.
maybe we could have IT here that day when we're doing it.
To make the suggestions to them on how to.
For the definition of apprentice, we need to reference master practitioner because this seems like a general definition of an apprentice for anything, rather than this specific application is talking about a Wareham body art apprentice, so.
Which page, where are you?
1 of 16, and under definitions, number 2, apprentice. We have to reference, like in parentheses or something in this application under a master practitioner in Wareham. Would that clarify that for everybody?
Go to the bottom of the page. The very bottom definition.
body art practitioner, apprentice,
Body art practitioner apprentice.
in the middle of education requirement.
Okay, so what's the difference between the apprentice and the body art practitioner apprentice?
The state felt the need to differentiate as well. The word apprentice, I guess.
Cause we probably don't need the first one then. Right?
I would agree.
So this application is just about body art, so. I don't know, just if we're trying to clean it up, I just thought maybe that's one more thing we can get rid of. Get rid of the first apprentice part, if it's already defined lower,
Right,
the body art apprentice.
body art practitioner or apprentice, yeah. The shorter you have a document, the easier it is for everyone, because the more likely they're gonna see it. You did clean up the issues, thank you, whoever.
Body art establishment or establishment. What the hell is that?
That's so in the sections, if you write establishment, not body art establishment, it covers both. Legal coverage.
I guess if you were Googling this and it was online and you just put the word establishment in, it would come up with that. So maybe that's why they do it.
Yes, and then if this, in this section, if it just says the establishment must, whatever, if you didn't put the body art establishment must, they could
It
claim to
would
be
still
exempt.
come up, yeah.
But even in legal terms, if the definition isn't both are the same, technically, if you were in court, they would say, well, it doesn't say the body art establishment,
I
it says
know,
the
it's
that's
So
yeah.
crazy. But okay,
The little caveat.
I'll go along with it.
One other thing that was probably changed, we had talked about, look up the, incident reports, but also having, let's see if I can find it, having a, I'm not sure what page it's on, having a form that the clients sign ahead of time for informed consent. I just don't see the page.
It's a separate document, I just had it pulled up for Dr. Dory, it's a state generic.
Here is exposure, no, that's just incident.
There is something that's already online, we can print out.
Okay. So there's a section you had mentioned, there's a section here about grounds for suspension, denial, revocation, refusal to renew permit. We talked about, if somebody is letting somebody practice, it would all be under this
That's a
section.
good section to have, because if you didn't make we have to put reporting in there, is reporting in that line, I don't think so. It needs to have reporting, because reporting has to be. If you haven't got if all these tattoo shops that we've had, and we've had a lot of them over the years, and you haven't got a single report about there being an issue, something's not right. Because just by the law of averages, there has to be something that's gone wrong somewhere along the way. Just make sure we.
So
get
making sure that it
reporting
adding,
gets added in there.
reporting into the area where grounds for suspension, denial,
If you don't report, there's grounds.
or
for
just abiding by the regs.
reporting requirements, whatever. Because sure in heck, one of these days, something's gonna go wrong and they're gonna come to you. They're gonna say, I had such and such and such, or you may get called to court as a representative of the town, and its regulations, and they might have you subpoena you to go to court. And then you'll get there and you'll say, well, I didn't know any of this. That doesn't look good.
These are cleaned up nicely though.
Yeah, they look better.
They look, yeah.
I know they were really, really messy, like she was looking at the old ones and they were really, really bad. But they're coming around very nicely. However, I still would think council looking at them would be a big plus. If anything, just for the legal part of it, you know? Rich is pretty good at that stuff. Rich Bowen is our attorney. He's been an attorney a long time. And for towns, he used to work for Copeland and Page. And we were able to hire him here as a full-time attorney, so.
So maybe those couple little changes get made, and since we probably don't wanna vote today anyway, we then bring them back before us with that little change with reporting and could potentially have the lawyer look at them before to be sure they know what the changes that he picks up.
Where would you
Gives
like
us-
to add the reporting requirement in the,
In the penalties section.
Or under standards of practice, but we
standard,
already,
yeah,
we already
same
have
thing.
it there.
Yeah.
But you want it, Mr. Tropiano, you want it to be somewhere so that if they don't report, that there's a fine associated with it or legal ramifications.
Right, or a possible loss of your license. I mean, if you don't report, then I'd say that's a pretty important piece, wouldn't you? Reporting any issues that come up?
I think it,
I mean, I think you must have to do that in your business for sure.
Right,
I think it's covered by 1 or 10. 1, so grounds for suspension, denial, revocation, or refusal. Number 1 is any action that would indicate that the health or safety of the public would be at risk, so not reporting would put safety or health.
yes, I like 10 and just.
Or 10 is anything that the board deems to be just.
Other just and sufficient cause which the board may determine would render the establishment unfit to practice body art.
Right, but the reporting requirement is in here, I just wanna reference the reporting requirement.
We'll stick it in.
Yeah.
Not something that might or won't, but the reporting requirement is required.
You could put it under 1, any action that would indicate the health or safety of the public would be at risk. Or 2, and just add it on the, and not
Not conforming to the
reporting.
reporting requirement of section whatever.
Yeah, we'll make it its own number.
Yeah, just add it in.
So. If that makes sense. All right,
So that's rule, we'll bring those back before us, it brings up the,
I will have
Oh,
one
one
question.
more?
And that is in the exemptions, sorry. Back to number. Page 4.
Page 4. We've been on that one a bunch. Go ahead.
B. We
So
spoke
these are
about
the
this briefly.
pre-sterilized guns.
Yeah, that, I highlighted that one too.
I know we spoke about removing it. Are we gonna do anything for people that are already established and have been doing it for however long?
I don't think so. I mean, it's a recommendation of the state even. I think the guns go till, unless somebody comes up with a gun that can be cleaned properly and everything else, and that's a different story.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
So this one though states pre-sterilized single-use stud, or not single-use gun. So they don't make single-use guns, is that correct?
The studs were used, or not reused, the studs.
It's just the studs, but the blood could come on the gun, that's the problem.
And then apparently it's hard to get it out. It's hard to clean them up.
Right, that's, even Jess was saying she didn't.
And we read it, remember, you got a report for us that's, and they were pretty clear about that even though they allow it, they really don't think it should be allowed. But the state does that a lot, they push the regulations onto us.
So
The-
I
yeah,
think we
the
had talked
states-
about taking that whole
Yeah.
line out and not have as an exemption.
It's in the state's model regs, the same exemption. I just wanna confirm we're not gonna do any grandfathering or anything for the stores that exist.
They can still pierce ears, just in a
Different method.
different way. A lot of people do that.
They can, if they're in a piercing thing, they can, like anything else, they can get the license and they can pierce whatever they want, as long as they do it the correct way. By the way, I, just so you know, I've had children that were pierced with those guns. And every single one of them that I can remember got an infection in the area.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one.
I think
Every time.
we only have the one, right? For that one.
The paper's done.
Do you have any other questions, Mr.
That is all.
McDonald or Sam, or?
We will find them all once these are done and.
Yep.
In Greece, they used ice cubes in a pin.
So just while we're on the regs, so we'll bring these forward again, once they're completed. You can ask, you know, I think it's not a bad idea to have the lawyer for the town look at regs once they're done. To have a second, you know, that's a great idea, making sure they, once we do them, they go on the website. And I'll
Maybe
keep
some
everybody
language or
informed
something,
regarding town administrator about getting some assistance so that the our staff isn't so overwhelmed with it, we get somebody to help us with them. Does that make sense? Okay. Would you like to do the health agents report?
Sure, absolutely. Disease reporting, we can circle back to that, but it's an interesting time to be alive, that's fun to say. Plan reviews, 6 conventional plans, 2 alternative plans. We've had 1 perk test, although Sam has quite a few on list coming up here shortly. Nothing exciting on the emergency response. We're continuing our restaurant inspections. Beachwater's over. Thank God. We don't have any pending court cases right now. Our public health nurse is working diligently. We've had quite a few.
Can we have the public health nurse come before sometimes,
Yeah, we
so
can try
that
to.
everybody, there are a lot of new people, so we can meet her?
Absolutely.
Even if she, either way, if she comes versus online.
Yeah, we can try to line up a time with her. So. That's really all the exciting stuff. Nothing
I
else.
have a
Epidemiologist?
question. I have a question.
Yes.
What does the public health nurse do?
So she used to do a lot, the public health nurse position used to do a lot more, but as time has gone on and budgets have gone down, Connie strictly does our Maven disease report. So she goes into the state system and monitors all the diseases, does all the follow-up, files the reports, answers any questions of that nature. And
She not doing anything with the COA now?
That's too bad.
They opted out.
Hmm?
They opted out of that.
Because it was a cost or?
Yep.
So the COA would have had to pay
They used to pay half, yep.
and they opted, that's too bad, cause it's a really, and people like it, you know, even if it's,
What would a public health nurse do at the
they do
COA?
blood pressure, flu clinic. You know, people who have questions about meds or wounds, there used to be a public, there used to be the VNA used to be in town. And people that didn't have it would just walk in and get a nurse's comment on something. It was a really huge asset to the community. So it's too bad, because I know of people that say, you know, would get their blood pressures and all. I don't know how the payment goes, how we get it paid for, or whether, but I think it is something nice that would be great to have again.
So the town pays the nurse? I don't
The-
know how this works. That's
Yes,
why I
we
asked.
used to have one, we still have one on staff, but she strictly does our reporting needs. We used to split the cost with the COA and she would spend however many amount of hours doing a blood pressure clinic and other things over at the COA specifically.
And that stopped a year ago or
It's been a
so,
while,
or 2
it's
years.
probably 2 or 3 now.
That's too bad. So, I don't know how to get it back. I would be all in favor of getting it back. And the question, it's a money issue and how to do that. Have to, you know, ask the COA to be involved and ask the town administrator, and we have a budget, but it's well, how's your town, how's where you work? Their COA, do they have a nurse that?
We have a whole separate department of public health in Stoughton, run by nurses.
Okay.
So we have 5 public health nurses and a head one that, so we split up the Board of Health duties in Stoughton.
Wow. How big is Stoughton?
It's similar to Wareham, I mean, I think on paper it's like 25 to 30, but in reality it's probably 40 to 50. We have a
Wow.
lot of,
William doesn't have the money.
Yeah,
I don't think the census is quite right,
well,
that's probably the same in every town.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you the reason why Wareham has less money than other towns. Because when Proposition 2.5 came in 1973, Wareham's property values, you could have bought a house around here for $10,000-12,000, right? So our overall levy, the entire amount was very small. So we got 2.5% over that. It took a long time before we even got over $1 million in additional money. But if you take a town like Weston, who had $1 million house on every corner, their levy was huge. So you take
Yeah.
2% of that, and they got millions of dollars of extra dollars.
Yeah.
So it wasn't fair to the smaller towns. But it is what it is, you know, you're
Yeah.
stuck with it. I'm telling you, I think it was only just recently that our extra money went over $1 million. Our extra 2.5 money went over $1 million.
Yeah.
Not counting new growth now. You get new houses and stuff, and that adds a little bit to it. But by and large, I think it just recently went over $1 million.
well, we can, you know, potentially you can look at volunteer nurses if
Yeah, yeah.
somebody's and that there are other ways to get people, and doing a blood pressure clinic, and also maybe there's some retired nurses that still would go, so we could look at that a little bit.
It's just sad that that's the way
It is sad.
And, you know, now we have some projects coming in, for instance, a new project, 180 units over here. And, you know, if you average 2 kids each, now we pay over $18,000 out of our budget to put them in school. And they're probably paying $2,000, $2,500 for the unit in all the taxes in entirety. But you've just added, you know, 300
That's
kids to
expensive.
the school system.
Right.
So that is difficult for us. We fight with it all the time.
On the infectious disease report, get your flu shots. We have been seeing cases of flu starting October
Already,
1st.
huh?
I've already seen amazing, because it's a little early. We occasionally see it this early, but get your flu shots.
Hmm.
COVID shot, new COVID came out in September. Get your updated COVID. RSV for those over 60, and we are seeing a lot. Wear your mask if you're sick for any reason. So my tidbits of the day. Any new announcements? I do have one announcement. So we received a piece of paper, Pat, do you have the email?
I do, I'll pass it around.
So I had
Oh,
received
you're the only safe
from,
one, so you can skip it if you like.
everybody gets to look and I can forward it. I had gotten a request from Board of Selectmen's office that many of us need to update our conflict of interest training and then a receipt or that we've received the conflict of interest law. I think Dr. Dory was the only perfect one on the.
That's because I just.
Oh,
So.
you just did it.
Yeah, you're brand new, yeah, you're safe.
So we all have to go on. I thought I did my, have to
Right?
look, maybe they didn't get the email of it.
2 years.
They're making us do it every 2 years now.
That's
They
the new
have a-
thing, yeah.
They have someone leaving their office, so they're trying to organize. So if everybody would go on,
Mine
and-
expired 3 days ago.
yeah, so if everyone would go on and try to get everything to the Board of Selectmen's office.
No,
Thank you very
I am
much.
70, but I think I can remember past 2 years for the same stuff.
Yeah, what, I know.
I'm just saying.
I have to do it for our jobs.
When you log in now, though, you make an account, so you can apply it to both places. You don't
Oh,
have
you
to,
can,
you don't have to
okay.
do two anymore, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Excellent, that saves
Yeah,
me.
you do it every,
Cause I do it all the time for work in Stoke.
do it every 2 years for my real estate license. As a broker.
Approval, I'd like to go on to the approval of meeting minutes for October 2nd. We're not allowed to vote today,
We're not.
probably, so let's do this
We're
next.
just gonna hold this off, yeah.
Yep, we'll hold off. Any other business? Anyone else have?
Nope.
Any other comments? And I would entertain a motion.
Yeah, we
To
don't
adjourn.
really need one, but a
Yeah.
motion to adjourn.
Second,
Patrick, yes.
and Amy do that. And we're all set. So,